Welcome to episode 5 of Honest to a Malt. Today, the title of the show is, Mike?
Gold Mamba.
Ooh, Mamba. It's been some snakes.
Some snaky stuff going on.
Yeah,
Caught myself.
well, we've actually recorded 2 shows pretty close together today, as in the same evening, because we wanted to do both the show about Whisky Life and also the show about the World Whisky Awards, which recently came out.
Because they've been so close to each other.
Yeah, and it's put a smile on our face, hasn't it? So that's what we've done.
And a furrowed brow.
Yeah, so we're not going to be talking about what we've been drinking this week because that would be disingenuous. And we have already talked about that.
Instead, we'll just say, what's in your glass? Honest to a malt, yeah. Honest to a malt.
What is in my glass right now is a fresh bottle of Aaron 10, the 2015 one, which I just opened. So fresh bottle, which I got.
Good value whiskey. That is a good value whiskey ding right there.
Wait for it, Mike, because I actually paid just £10 for this bottle.
Call the police.
Yeah.
Where have you got that from?
Well, I got 2 bottles for £20. So yeah.
You always come up with these little like scams that you keep to yourself. Like, just got this whiskey. How much is it? £4. All I had to do was deliver 20 pairs of shoes to the local market, and I
bought a box of plasters and I got a bottle of whiskey for £4.72. Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, 2 for 20. What a bargain! But at least I'm opening them, right? That's what counts. Because you can't buy Aaron 10 for probably less than 30 quid. I wouldn't have thought 35 quid, something like that.
Do you know what? I nearly hit buy on so many whiskies in the last couple of days, and due to the amount open, I went, no, not going to do it. Don't need to do it. I'll wait till I'm down a few hundred and then start buying some.
You know, it did turn up. I finally got the Lovian's Tasting Pack for the Campbelltown stuff.
Mine's just rocked up today as well.
Yeah, and that got me a little bit excited because there's whiskies in that I haven't tried.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the lineup again since I signed up for it, and I'm going to keep it as a little surprise.
That's coming soon. So what's in your glass right now then? What have you moved on to?
So I've gone into a sample dive. I like to keep a box of samples here where we record the pod. And I've pulled out an SMWS 10.205, which is called Bottle Breakfast. It's a Bunnahabhain 15-year-old refill bourbon cask at 54.9%. And it is like running through an orchard naked. It is beautiful. Just loads of apple, pear. Oh, yeah, really, really nice. You can't even remotely get that strength on it. You would it reminds me of Compass Box Orchard House quite a lot, straight from the off.
Right. Okay. I don't know if I've tried that, or if I have.
I'll get you a sample, or I'll tell you I'll get you a sample and never post it.
Yeah, well, we can do another switcheroo, can't we? For sure.
Or you can attend Casa del Wings and actually abuse
Casa del Wings. Have you stolen that off me? I say Casa del to where we live here. Have I? Is that something you've nicked off me?
I think it's quite a common phrase.
I'm pretty sure.
Can't claim everything as yours.
Well, Tumbler Club.
Yeah.
I'll take in Tumbler Club. So we're going to talk about Gold Mamba today. We're going to talk about the World Whisky Awards because it's just come out and it raised my blood pressure somewhat.
A little bit.
And what I thought we'd do is we'd hit you with maybe some facts from not from books, but from the internet. So almost facts.
So complete rubbish.
Using their own data against them.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like Whisky Awards might have gone a bit FIFA. It might have gone a bit sort of Seb. Is it Seb Blatter?
Seb Blatter.
Blatter, yeah, Blatter. Blatter with a P, right though. And I can sort of explain why. So the category that I look at every year is the best single malt. There's also best single malt, single cask, and this year best single malt, single cask was Glen Scotia. Cask 372, which was a first fill bourbon. So I'm not going to argue with that. These Glen Scotias usually pretty outstanding. So I'm sure that one's very good. Don't think I've tried that individual one, but I've tried many other first fill bourbon ones. So I'm sure it's in the same ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
The winner this year for the best single malt was Milk and Honey Elements Sherry. Have you tried it, Mike?
I have not tried it. No, I've had a couple of milk and honeys, which I got on with, but equally, I don't think anyone would be too put out. Sorry, Shilton, I do love you, but yeah, some of them didn't quite hit the mark for me. I'm happy to say that the pomegranate bottling did, and the one aged by the sea, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, generally
aged by the sea. Yeah. Well, so I'm not sure where to start with this. The first thing I'd say, World Whisky Awards, whoever does their website and servers, you've really got to sort it out. It's so slow. I feel like it makes me feel like I'm using Windows Explorer browser again. Like, not Edge, Windows Explorer, the one that, as it was being what's the word? Gotten rid of, basically. It just was going crunchingly slow, and people were just diehards was going, I'm still going to use it. You're like, stop using it. Nothing supported it anymore. Like, I don't care. So when I work in software, and people would contact you and say, oh, this isn't very fast, and you'd be like, what browser are you using? They'd be like, well, it's taking like 2 minutes to load. You're using Windows Explorer. It's literally discontinued. Here's Chrome. And they go, oh, wow, that's really fast. How long have you been using this for? I've been using this now for about a year like this. And you've been putting up with it like that? Yeah. Okay. Think of all that time you've wasted. So first thing, I really struggle with their websites. It's really slow, gets any kind of traffic. Nightmare. But that's just a side note. That's like a me gripe. I sort of expect websites to be reasonably quick these days. So Milk and Honey Sherry Cask, Elements Sherry Cask. I did have a quick look, and people were immediately, Mike, they were thinking they were going to snap them up. Now, I kind of get that because, there was the Lakes Whiskey Makers Edition 4, was it? I think it was 4. And also before that, you had Glenallachie Cask Strength Batch 4. Both pretty good bottles of whiskey.
Glenallachie?
Glenallachie.
Okay.
Glenallachie, yeah. That's right. Thanks for... There's a slight echo on the pod there. So... and then before that, you had some real big hitters winning. So I just did a little recap. Now I did this just before recording the pod. So on record, it goes back as far as 2015 in terms of knowing what won. But actually, the awards apparently started in 2013. Now, I didn't really pay much attention to them until about 2020, truth be told. And since then, I started to kind of pay attention to what's going on. So in 2015, it was won by Cavalan Soloist, Vino Barrique Single Cask Strength, which I think is a NAS whiskey, but the liquid in it could have been up to 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I found it really hard to even find out which bottle that is using Whiskey Base, but I'm going to say it scores somewhere between 88 to 92. And I've actually tried that or one of those exact bottles, and it is pretty thick, pretty rich, pretty unique.
Yeah.
I think I tried that one.
Yeah, I got one open.
Yeah, it's bonkers, right? It's absolutely bonkers. So you could kind of get that. Would I pick it as my best single malt in the world? Look, I wouldn't. Everything's subjective, but you get it, right? So 2016 was Old Pulteney vintage 1989, 25-year-old whiskey, and on Whiskey Base that scores 88.5 from easily over 50 reviews, maybe sort of 70, 80 reviews. Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Now, the next one is 2017, which is Craigellachie, right? 31-year-old. And that scores on Whiskey Base 91.46 from well over 100 reviews.
There's some integrity showing, I would say,
some.
in these early.
Yes, some. So wait for it. Then it's at Hakushu 25 in 2018, 90.8 on Whiskey Base.
Okay.
The Hakushu 25 is revered, right? 2019 was Teeling, 24-year-old reserver. Scores 90.63 on Whiskey Base.
Okay.
I feel like we need one of those chart countdowns, on the radio.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, give it some
that was
energy
Ghostbusters,
for me.
wasn't it? Yeah.
No, yeah. Remember how it used to count down and be like, in at number 4. It's Hakushu again, 25. It won it. It won it.
I'll just keep humming in the background for you.
Perfect. It won it for the second time in a row, right?
Questions.
In 2020. Yeah, apparently it's a very good whiskey. I'm not sure if I've ever tried that 25. I don't think I have. And then in 2021, it was the one that it started to make waves for Glenallachie, which was the cask strength batch 10, and it was edition 4.
Mm-hmm.
And previously, the year before, number 3 had won like some sort of runner-up award or something. Now, that scores 87.68 to 2 decimal places on Whisky Base.
It's a significant drop.
It is, but it's still fairly high.
Yeah.
Right. And I've tried that. I actually have had 2 bottles of it, and the various other, additions from that. I've had most of them. And it's pretty good whiskey, sort of layers of chocolate going on. It's a real experience. It's lovely. Have you tried that one?
Nope.
You haven't? Okay. Well, we can sort that out. Yeah. Then in 2022 was the Lakes Whiskey Makers Reserve, is it? Whiskey Makers Reserve, Whiskey Makers Edition, number 4. A Naz whiskey. Have you tried that one?
I've had a lot of the lakes. There's quite a lot of love for the lakes around.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good blending, and it scores 86.6. So the scores are starting to go down on Whisky Base, and that's a Naz, isn't it? I've definitely tried 4 and 5, and I think 2, not 3. And I think 5 was actually better than 4, although that doesn't feature at all this year. So I don't know how that works. If they win the award, maybe they don't bother to go in for it again. Anyway, in at number 1, Mike, give me some music. Thank you. It's Milk and Honey, Element Sherry, Naz. And maybe have a little search and see what the score is on Whisky Base.
82.40 is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, someone's already scored it up. That's interesting. So you're saying it's 82.40. Earlier today it was 82.37. That's because people are already scoring up, but there's 175 votes. So people who are buying the bottles are already going on there and increasing the score to try and track the score up as they panic, as their buttocks tighten, as they worry about the £55 bottle of whiskey that they've bought 20 of from Ocado or whatever, and it's going to be stuck in the cupboard whilst they pray that it turns out to be £150. But I just can't see it this time. I can't see that bottle of whiskey, and I'll tell you why. I had a wee look at the Whiskey Exchange. And some of the reviews. The reviews on Whisky Base are much more balanced, but there's some quite funny reviews on the Whiskey Exchange from 2021 and 2022 for that bottle of whiskey.
Have you got them there?
I have. I've got them to hand, yeah. Well, the first one is, it's not fair to read out people's names, even though they are published online. So, but one's just 1 star, horrid. It scores 2.57 reviews, which isn't quantitative, right? So this is more about qualitative. The quantitative stuff is Whisky Base. 82.37 is, or 82.4 now, is a low overall score. It really is for best single malt in the world. I think we just need to be straight up about that because we are honest to a malt. Now, another review from September 2022 said, this has been hidden in the back of the drinks cabinet for 5 months since I last tried and reviewed it. Though I might have been slightly unfair the first time around, so I'm reviewing again. I was correct first time. Don't waste money on it.
Savage.
What's that? That's called confirmation bias, isn't it? When you just look to reinforce your original point, right? But anyway, so this person was exercising confirmation bias, which we all do. But he said, don't waste your money on this. Very disappointing. Not even useful as drain cleaner. No star option, not available. That's brutal, right? Isn't it?
That's someone that's,
I'm going to save the best one for last. Someone's written, not very good, overpriced. Tandu 12, Macallan 12, both same price range. It's not rocket surgery. It's also not rocket science.
I'm going to say it should be rocket science.
Or brain surgery. But I think you're allowed to write whiskey reviews when you've had a few whiskeys.
Hey, it's whiskey. It's a blend.
It's rocket surgery. I'm going to use that again. It's not rocket surgery.
Not rocket surgery, son.
I love lamp. Do you really love lamp? I love lamp. Yeah.
Well, it's not rocket surgery.
You're invited to the pants party. Do you mean the party in your pants? Yeah, I mean that's right. Yeah. What was that? It was Anchorman, wasn't it?
Yeah,
amazing.
Classic.
Rocker surgery. And so the disappointing, one word that someone else has put that. To be fair, just disappointing. Like, they're not angry, Mike. They're disappointed. No. That's worse, isn't it? And someone else has written this one, and this is my favorite one. This was in April 22. My son bought this for my birthday. After trying it, I was disappointed that I could not backdate a vasectomy.
Sorry if I've just made the podcast really loud, but
It's so good. Whoever wrote that, legend. I never see, you
oh,
don't see whiskey reviews that are that funny usually, do you? I
that
mean,
is savage.
by the way, I actually open invite to people. If you find whiskey reviews that people have written that are really funny, send them to us because
Yeah.
this is some funny stuff. And it's just completely by luck. It just so happens that FIFA have made this whiskey the best whiskey in the world through a legitimate competition. And and you know it's won, and it just so happens that there's actual reviews already published online that sort of tickled our bellies a little bit, right?
Yeah. I have found the bottle I was talking about earlier. It's the Milk and Honey Apex from released in 2021, Dead Sea sort of bottling. And that was nice. So although we've ripped them, there's a couple of nice bits. And that was 85.54
I don't.
on whiskey base, which is a more legitimate score for a really good whiskey, I would say, rather
Yeah,
than
definitely more respectable. Definitely
Yeah.
more respectable. I'm not saying that Milk and Honey don't produce good whiskey. I'm just saying that it does raise a few eyebrows that that's the best single malt in the world. And I also think it probably calls into question the integrity, I think, of the competition overall. And I'm happy to say that because I'm just going on the data, right?
Yeah.
I'm literally just going on the data. I think if you've got a whiskey which is widely reviewed and scores from nearly 200 reviews and hasn't done resoundingly that well, for that to win that competition.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You have to pay money to have your whiskey considered. Is that correct?
Yeah, but it's sort of kind of it smacks of that kind of boxing thing where, you know, one of the boxing judges is, I'm just saying it doesn't really stack up to me. And that, I guess that's not that funny, is it? But when you look at that hit list of whiskies that we went through, you know, Old Pulteney, you know, Craigellachie, Kushu, Teeling, some big hitters, even that, I would say that the Glenallachie Cask Strength Batch series sort of is one of the crossover whiskies. Do you know what I mean by crossover?
I think I do, but if you want to explain for everyone else.
Well, for me, it's a whiskey which gets people who are drinking kind of like supermarket ABV, so something from like 40 to 46%, to going up to sort of cask strength digits, going into the sort of 50s.
Introducing them to the geekiness of the whiskey world.
Yeah, the wonders of it. A bit like, you know, we mentioned Liam's face when he tried that Tokai Kalila and was just like mind blown.
Yeah.
Right.
What
he was like,
this?
I don't know what again. I was like, Ryvita and Yellow Melon. He was like, oh yeah, it is Ryvita and Yellow Melon. I was like, yeah. He was like, this is incredible. Anyway, it's like that. And that's a crossover whiskey series. And so I really get that. And the Lakes is outstanding blending.
It's, to me, like I said, when you look at the whiskey base figures, I know they can also be manipulated, as we've seen with the rating going up over the last couple of days, or today even.
Today.
It's sort of like, as a South Walian, it's like the Barry log flume. You're on this ride, and you've got all these high scorers, and you're hitting like the excitement part, the log flume. It's going down. There's a big water splash. You're in these like 90% whiskies, and then you're in Barry, and you're on these 80 points whiskey.
You're in Barry. The sun's gone in. You're soaked. The sun's gone completely. Suddenly there's a chill. It's become windy. You can't dry off.
Gone.
You go to the bar to get a pint and it's warm.
Yeah.
That's what's going on there, isn't it?
I feel like they need to go around back up to the top of the log flume.
And then whoever's its responsibility was to remember where you parked in the car park. Yeah. They've forgotten. You can't find the car. You trudge around for 30. It's gone that direction, hasn't it? It's gone from best ride at the fair to family nightmare. Yeah. That's what it feels like to me anyway.
Yeah.
And look, hey, I'll be honest, I haven't tried it yet. And I'm going to try it, I'm sure.
I will try it now just to make a point of it.
Me too. If I can get hold of it.
If it's, I'm sure we'll be able to get hold of it from someone or somewhere. It's probably still available everywhere.
Well, it isn't. People have bought it out.
I'm sure it'll pop up. I'll be tapping up someone for a sample.
Right.
But if it is amazing and these reviews are not biased, but just being a bit sort of vindictive on the various whiskey retailers. I'll say it because we are honest to a malt. And yeah, I'm sure there are people that would want to naysay whiskey companies just because, but it just seems a bit too low to be hitting that high that you should be like celebrating. This is like absolutely amazing with an 82% or 82 score whiskey.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, not naysaying them. I think they've been around since 2012 or something, 2011. I'm sure they make some good whiskey, but we're talking about the best single malt in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of feel like the best single malt in the world should never be a NAS whiskey, but it has been the last 2 years anyway. So you've gone from old age.
I don't mind the NHS. I don't mind the NAS releases. But again, when I think of the ones I have tried, that Dead Sea bottling, it was like 100 quid.
100 quid.
It's young, but it's like 56.2%. There was so much going on there, and it really was something different. And I'm like, if you're going to give an award, that's where you should be going. And again, I won't name names, but someone at the festival at Whisky Live said they put some bottles in, and their most successful one in the awards was, I think, one of their lowest sort of ABVs. They said they were just like, how is that the one that they've picked? And you sort of got a question, who's scoring them, who's giving these awards, where's it coming from?
Are they having spicy food first? I mean, have they been on the kebab with the spicy sauce and the red onions? And then
not enough brie.
Not enough brie. just drinking out of a cup made of Stilton. That's where the Stilton went.
Oh. Yeah, do you know what? I've had a flashback to our walk up to Whisky Live, where again, one of those times when you look at me with such disappointment when you gave me a sample. Do you want to tell me what you gave, or tell people what you gave me?
Oh my days, I'd completely forgotten that.
Yeah.
When we left the public house to go to Whisky Live, I thought I would bring something interesting for you to try and just keep it real, keep it street. So I had in my cupboard a sample left, which I poured out into 2 mini espresso cups.
Yeah.
Just a wee nip for us both to have. That was all it was, just a wee nip. And you tried it, and what did you say?
Hang on, I want to say before you went this, that you were like so excited, and you were like trying to hide the bottle from me. You dropped the bottle on the floor because you were just trying to keep it hidden from me. And it was like
fluffy pockets.
The expectation when you gave it to me, and I was like,
too high.
Yeah,
you're right. I probably wasn't playing it cool enough. Anyway, it was a 40-year-old blended malt, wasn't it?
It was, but I mean, give it a bit more credit. It was Douglas Lang, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 40-year-old, decent strength, and yeah, I think.
I really just bought it because it's a certification. I bought it for the certification. It wasn't a lot. We probably only had about less than 10 mils each. Yeah.
I thought you were trying to trick me. I'll be honest. And I was like, this is a 70s grouse.
Yeah. It's just about certification. So I thought, oh, that'd be fun. And I wasn't sure what the oldest whiskey was that you'd had, to be honest.
50 odd.
Right. Okay. Well, now I know that. I won't bother next time. Unless it's an 80-year-old whiskey.
Unless it's half a century old.
But was that grain though, or was that malt?
No, it was blend.
Right. Okay. Well, wow. I'm wasting my time. Right.
And to be fair, I have had a 40-year-old Little Mill. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
In the distillery as well. So
I thought we'd just get the day off on the right start. Pint of Guinness, and then we nip or something semi-special onto the festival. So there it is, out of paper cups.
Yeah. So maybe we're not the best to judge.
Maybe we shouldn't be judging any World Whiskey Awards. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's good though.
Good point, Mike. Well made there. Saved it. You saved it at the end.
Recovered. But no. But thank you for the sample though. It was a lovely experience, and yeah, you geared me up for that Whisky Live. But yeah.
Well, I think here we go then. So I just mentioned we've got a new website, honesttoamalt.com. Thanks so much to everyone that's subscribed to the pod so far, and to everyone that's listened to it. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, if you've got any whiskies that you think aren't getting the recognition and love, feel free to drop a tweet, an Instagram, any sort of post to us, emails, whatever. And And yeah, we'll sort of talk about it if we get to those points in the future.
Yeah, go one bigger than that. Any funny reviews you come across that you want shared? Any stories about smuggling whiskey into the house or anything along those lines, as well as any distilleries or bottles that you think are unloved? Just hit us up with a message.
Let us know, and we'll make sure they get an award.
We'll do our own awards.
The
Gold Mamba Awards.
The Gold Mamba. Da, da, da.
Lethal.
Yeah, like it. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for listening. Hope you enjoyed today, and we'll catch you on the next one.